What is going on, guys? SageArtz here, and today we are back for Chainsaw Man chapter 120. But before we get into that, obviously happy Valentine's Day to all the single ladies out there, and anyone who's just you know coupled up for Valentine's Day. If you're not, you'll get them next year, man. Focus on yourself, guys. And if you found out some stuff you didn't want to find out today, that's unfortunate, but we can all come together for today's Chainsaw Man chapter. So in chapter 119, we had some very interesting events when Asa went to Denji's house for their date. Yoru ended up taking over her body and making moves on Denji, and we ended off the chapter with a cliffhanger of Nayuta attacking Yoru and Asa with her chain. So from what we've seen previously before this, with Makima using her chains, she used it as the form of manifesting the abilities of people she's controlled. But in this chapter, it's a bit different. So we automatically kick off the chapter with Yoru acting like a dog. She starts barking immediately after being hit with Nayuta's chains, and Nayuta is just laughing hysterically. Like, honestly, this chapter just made me think that Nayuta is going to be like a power Makima type character. I don't know how to describe it. Obviously, we know she's the reincarnation of Makima, but it's a thing where her attitude is control devil and then like Denji style, which is why I said power, because Denji and power are pretty much like they're the same people basically, even though they're boys and girls. They're the same people. That's how I feel like Denji and power were, but I can see aspects of power within Nayuta, and then obviously the whole Makima style of her with the control and stuff. But she turned Asa and Yoru into a dog. She was barking. She was saying the reason she did that is because she spit on my property. So anyone who was assuming, me included, that Nayuta was going to be a character who was very controlling and like feels like she has authority over people, which is expected since she's a control devil, that was confirmed this chapter. She's exactly how we'd expect her to be in regards to the control devil aspect. But she's still a child, so she's not like too over the top of it, but we can see she's definitely smart for her age. And even though she does have these traits to be controlling, she still does listen to Denji, and she's very realistic in the sense of how you'd expect a child to be about it. Denji wanted her to turn Asa back to normal, but she said, "I'm hungry, I can't do it." She wasn't going to budge until she'd eaten. So it's like she's still kind of childish in that regard. So it's not all bad with Nayuta. Yes, she's controlling to a degree, but it's very playful, if that makes sense. So it's good to see that in regards to Denji raising her, she's not all bad from what we've seen. Like, there's potential there to be bad, but right now it just looks like she's a girl who's looking after her older brother and having fun. That's really it. And supporting this is the fact she says every woman you try to meet Denji tries to kill you, right? So what makes you think this dog is any different? Referring to people like dogs, typical Makima stuff. But she is right, because we had Makima, we had Power, we had Reze, we had Kwangshi. Literally every woman that met Denji had tried to kill him in some sort of way, and he would have been dead if he wasn't a hybrid. So it makes sense why Nayuta's trying to look out for him, and she's only kind of willing to follow Denji's orders in turning her back due to the fact that he won't die, you know, because he's a hybrid. So she's worried for his well-being, but she's also realistic in the fact that, okay, even if I do let this one go, it's not like she can kill him. But she doesn't know that obviously Asa and Yoru is the war devil from the information we've learned in this chapter. So before Nayuta turns Asa and Yoru back to normal from their state of acting like a dog, she says that she has two demands that Denji needs to follow. So the first one is that she gets to eat ice cream every single day, which is very childish stuff. And the second one is that Denji can't get friendly with her, which is understandable since Denji did say before that girls shouldn't be like flirting with him in front of Nayuta. It's obvious that that's a thing that she's against, which is probably due to the fact she's very protective over her big brother and wants her all to himself. And she further adds on to this saying that she doesn't like her scent. Now we do know that with Makima, when she had her initial introduction, which was the second chapter, yes, I believe it was the second chapter of Chainsaw Man, she says she has a very strong nose, and we even learned at the end of part 1 that she does, that Denji assumed, I don't think it was confirmed, he assumed that she perceived people with her scent alone, so she doesn't actually remember faces. So she has a very good nose. So if she's saying that she doesn't like the smell of Asa and Yoru, which we know as the readers because she's the war devil and she's trying to turn Denji into a weapon, Denji's not necessarily 100% against her judgment because she has good reason for saying so. However, when faced with the situation of following Nayuta's commands or leaving Asa and Yoru as a dog forever, Denji was reluctant because we know he likes Asa, but I think it was very nice that he did say that Nayuta does come first for him. And we see Nayuta doing the signature peace sign that Denji usually does. It's just really nice seeing the effect that Denji has on Nayuta as she grows up. These are like a lot of Denji's traits that we're seeing within her that aren't bad. And you know, it's nice seeing that she does care for her brother and Denji really cares for her. Because the old Denji, who knows, he might put Asa and Yoru first because, you know, Denji was all about his woman, but it seems his new priority, which is his little sister, outweighs Asa enough for him to put her first. So that was a very nice thing to see. Our boy's maturing, and it's very evident within part 2 of Chainsaw Man. And as a result of this, Nayuta ends up altering Asa and Yoru's memories, so they think that Denji actually stood them up today, which is kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad, but it's kind of good because Denji, I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to rack my brain around how Fujimoto is going to execute this story in a way that Asa's going to have some sort of freeway with her relationship with Yoru, because she can't hide anything. Like, she can't pretend to not like Denji because Yoru feels what she feels, etc. But then liking Denji is going to get him turned into a weapon. You know, there's just no real out with this. So it's like, what is Fujimoto going to do to get out of sticky situations here? But this situation right here ended up being a save by Nayuta, and in the long run, it might actually help Denji because if Asa doesn't like him, he's not going to get turned into a weapon. But then again, they did have feelings for each other, so that is genuinely tough. And in the aftermath of this decision where Nayuta altered Asa's memories, we can see the way she's taking it, and honestly, she's not taking it all that well. She's really doubting herself and just thinking he might have forgotten and she doesn't care. She does care. We can see in her face. But she's trying to convince herself that it's even better for this, that her feelings aren't involved here because of obviously the bad that would have happened to Denji. But then in doing this, she's neglecting her feelings which she genuinely had for him. So it's very sad. Like, she's even saying she admitted she wanted the slightest desire of human touch for a second there, and then she's trying to weigh it down to pure hormones. She's just really going against herself and saying that she doesn't need anyone and she would have preferred solitude, etc. And she doesn't need anyone else to be happy. It's a sad, man. Like, you can even see Yoru in the bottom panel saying but you know she can feel it as well. She can feel Asa's lying, and she even feels some type of way to a degree because you can see it in her face. But yeah, it's just a really sad moment for Asa here. And while she's constantly trying to change the subject and take off her mind and making excuses for her feelings, Yoshida comes in at the end of the chapter and asks her if he'll keep her company. Now, that is where the chapter ends, but that is very interesting. This is another development. Instantly after Asa and Yoru have been stood up, obviously they have to look for another boy to make them fall in love, and then they can make a powerful weapon, then they could go to war with Chainsaw Man. But Yoshida is the person who has arrived at the door. Now, I don't expect anything bad to happen to Yoshida in regards to being turned into a weapon. He's too on point for that. He doesn't really seem like a person who lets people get to him. So he would even have those feelings to begin with. He already knows what's going on to a degree. And there is further information which we still don't know Yoshida's hiding with the organization, the ties with family, and even the Death Devil. There's just a lot of stuff going on. So we just need to see how that goes. So this was a very good chapter. I do feel sad for Asa, kind of. And Nayuta, I'm not gonna lie, even though it kind of messes up the whole thing that was going on with Asa and Denji, honestly speaking, this was probably the best thing to happen because I didn't want to see Denji get turned into a weapon. I'll be so real, man. But yeah, what do you guys think of the chapter? Let me know what you think is going to happen next. The next chapter is in 7 days, so we don't actually have to wait 2 weeks again, which is a relief. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Yoshida and Asa going forward, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.